Hello, and welcome to the 2022 State Games of America Preview Show. I'm Chuck Long, CEO and Executive Director of the Iowa Sports Foundation. We are excited to host the State Games of America in Iowa this summer. This summer, the State Games of America will take place of the summer Iowa Games for most sports. We look forward to celebrating sports and athletes with others from all corners of the state and across the country. When we return, we'll learn more about the State Games of America presented by Grinnell Mutual.
Every sunrise offers new opportunities to dream big or to take that next small step. Every sunrise is another chance to build on the one before or to start with a clean slate, because every sunrise is tomorrow's promise made real, and Grinnell Mutual is tomorrow's promise protected. Trust in tomorrow and contact a Grinnell Mutual agent today.
Gold. It's not an accessory or a trophy. It's a chase that pushes limits. This is your why. Why you polish and perfect and rise above fear to be gold. This is the State Games of America. Go for the gold.
Welcome back to the State Games of America Preview Show. I am joined now by Iowa Games Director Katie Kramer. This is a big event for the Iowa Games to host. Tell us more.
Yeah, Chuck, we're very excited to host it. Iowa has never hosted the State Games of America before. We've been planning this event since about 2016. That's when we were awarded the bid for the event. And so we'll have about 4,000 to 5,000 out-of-state athletes coming from across the nation to compete alongside our 10,000 to 12,000 Iowans that we get. It has been a little bit challenging, as we were originally supposed to have this event in 2021, but it got moved to 2022 because of COVID. So there's been a few challenges in there with having to reconfirm venues, and especially just the marketing portion of it as well, of trying to, changing the date and getting word out to our athletes that now this will be in 2022 instead of 2021.
The State Games of America has many traditional sports. What's on the schedule for this year?
A little bit of everything. We have between 40 to 50 sports going on. There'll also be some new sports going on with it being the State Games of America. We'll have competitive yoga. Ninja will be coming in with a big course, so we're excited to have those sports involved with this as well. Our largest sports will be soccer, which is typical for Iowa Games as a team sport. But some of our largest individual sports will be figure skating, with about 600 to 700 figure skaters, pickleball, swimming, and track and field. So we'll see the largest uptick in numbers with our individual sports compared to our team sports, but it should still be a big addition for the games this year.
And how can athletes register for the 2022 State Games of America?
If you go to stategamesofamerica.com, you can see a whole list of all the sports that we offer, all the information related to it, and links to register.
Thanks, Katie. When we return, we will talk with 2016 Iowa Games Marty McCone, Female Athlete of the Year and State Games of America athlete, Ann Hegstrom.
You won't read about my mom in the history books, but she's gonna change history forever. You'll never learn about her in school, but she'll redefine everything we know. She's not a scientist or a doctor, but she's gonna help save a lot of lives. My mom works at Mediacom, and they're going to bring us one of the world's first 10G broadband platforms. Mom says, dream big.
Some of us are just driven to succeed, to make it to the top and stay there. We drive towards success at everything we do. Always striving, fueled by passion, integrity, and work ethic. Because to us, success means accepting nothing less than being the best. And making sure you're surrounded by a team who is at the top of the leaderboard, like Hy-Vee.
Doing great, Jack.
Hy-Vee's commitment to excellence, their insistence on only the highest standards, and their drive to be the best means when it comes to fresh food, they know fresh. And here's a simple takeaway. If you think you can find any better, then you don't know Hy-Vee, and you don't know Jack.
If you've ever been to an Iowa Games cross-country or track and field meet, you may have seen an athlete with crazy socks and a beaming smile on her face. Welcome, Ann, to the State Games of America preview show.
Thank you, Chuck, for having me on the show. It's a pleasure to be here.
Ann, how did you get involved with the Iowa Games and competing in the running events?
I first learned about the Iowa Games from a flyer at a Casey's store. My first event was actually a mud run. Think Ninja Warriors while slogging through mud pits. The next year I decided to try track and field because that was my sport in high school. Then after a few years I also added cross country. I may have entered from a bit of nostalgia, but quickly discovered there was some serious competition going on. Isn't it fun to think that the sport that gave me equal parts challenge and camaraderie nearly 50 years ago is still an important part of my life?
Beside the Iowa Games, you also compete in the Iowa Senior Games as well as the State Games of America. Tell us about your experiences with both those events.
Yes, several friends in my running group compete in the Iowa Senior Games, and they encouraged me to give it a try. There are several sports, but I've only participated in track and field so far. The Senior Games structure is a bit different. You have to be 50 or older to participate, and track and field has a few more events. The best part of the Senior Games, especially at the national level, is that there are so many masters athletes, and some of them are simply amazing. Nothing could be more inspiring than watching runners in their 80s, 90s, 100s still in the game. People often ask me which I prefer, Iowa Games or Senior Games. And I have to tell you, I really enjoy both equally. Iowa Games has all the age groups. And as a former teacher, nothing warms my heart like watching young athletes giving their best and then learning how to be gracious whether they win or lose. The Senior Games, with all the athletes of a certain age, has a climate of friendship and support. Each year, we catch up on each other's triumphs and challenges and injuries. And as masters athletes, we all know that's just part of the game. I've been fortunate to participate in 3 previous State Games of America. It is an honor to represent my state among athletes from all over the United States. What a wonderful way to compete from people all over the United States. We swap stories, we coach each other, and we cheer at the finish line. And after you make those friendships, it becomes important to qualify for the next State Games in order to meet again.
You were named the 2016 Iowa Games Marty McCone Female Athlete of the Year. I'm sure this was a memorable award, but tell us about another State Games experience that may have inspired you to continue to compete.
In my first State Games of America in Lincoln, another athlete grabbed me by my shoulders after I won an event and told me, "Remember, you are now a national champion." That made my heart skip a beat. This will be my 4th State Games this summer. I can hardly wait for the opening ceremony with the parade of athletes from all the states. It'll be a proud moment for all Iowa Games athletes. And if you're lucky, you will get to witness something amazing. I will never forget when I watched a 103-year-old woman running 100 meters and breaking records. Who doesn't want to be like her when we grow up?
Thank you, Ann. You're an inspiration to athletes of all ages, and good luck this summer at the State Games of America. When we return, we will hear from Jeff Maneri and Barb Baker from Grinnell Mutual, the presenting sponsor of the State Games of America.
At Iowa State, innovation is dynamic. It's collaborative. It's inviting ideas from all corners and working across disciplines. Because we've learned when ideas are shared, we all benefit. Innovate at Iowa State.
Gold. It's not an accessory or a trophy. It's a chase that pushes limits. This is your why. Why you polish and perfect and rise above fear to be gold. This is the State Games of America. Go for the gold.
Welcome back. We are now joined by President and CEO Jeff Maneri and Director of Advertising and Community Relations Barb Baker of Grinnell Mutual. And we are in Grinnell Mutual headquarters in a beautiful auditorium with this interview, and it's great to be here.
Well, thank you, Chuck, for coming here today. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to visiting with you.
Yeah, it's great to
Thanks,
be here.
Chuck. We're happy to have you.
Yeah, it's great to be here. And my first question is for you, Barb. Now, Barb, you've had over 20 years of experience with the Iowa Games, coaching, participating, sponsoring. Please give us your most memorable moment.
I think my most memorable experience is when I was coaching a 9 or 10-year-old soccer team, and we brought them to opening ceremonies, and having them experience opening ceremonies and just all of the festivities and seeing how happy they were, thinking about just having fun and being with each other rather than the competition really set the stage for us.
Well, the opening ceremonies are going to be great this year with State Games of America, and you're both invited, of course. That's a great story. Thank you. Jeff, the question for you is, Grinnell Mutual has been a sponsor, a presenting sponsor the last several years of the Iowa Games, including the 2022 State Games of America this year. What makes it a great marriage between the Iowa Games and Grinnell Mutual, in your opinion?
Well, the Iowa Games, and especially the State Games of America, I mean, it's an honor to be a part of it. And I think that this is just a great opportunity for the state of Iowa, our capital city of Des Moines, great opportunity, and we just really want to be a part of that. You know, this is an opportunity for the individuals that are competing, the contestants, to get out there and meet some of Iowa, experience some of Iowa nice. You know, to be there and to maybe make some new friends and relationships. And, you know, when I was walking down the hall to this meeting, you know, right now, I saw our poster of our core values. And one of our core values is valuing your relationships. And so it just is a match for Grinnell Mutual, and we hope that the participants, you know, get that chance to meet some new friends and make some new relationships here in Iowa.
We love the relationship, obviously, and Grinnell Mutual is all over the community. Everywhere I go across the state, I see Grinnell Mutual. You tell us, I'll start with you, Jeff. Tell us what out-of-state athletes are coming into Iowa from practically all 50 states. Of course, we have our Iowa athletes as well. What are some things to do around the community?
Well, you know, there is just so much to do that I'm not even going to try and suggest it as far as within the community of Des Moines. I think each individual will have certain things that they're interested. There may be certain restaurants they might like to go to and experience. There may be some historical places they would like to go to and spend some time doing that. The one recommendation that I would give, though, to the participants and the competitors would be just take that time to meet some people. You know, it doesn't have to be another competitor. It could just be somebody else that you meet and visit with, because, you know, that individual 20 years from now, after they win that gold medal that they deserve and that they earned, you know, that'll always be very, very special to them. But there will be people coming out of these games that make friends, lifetime friends, that will make a difference in their lives. And I hope they take those opportunities.
Anything to add to that, Barb?
Wow, that's hard to follow. I agree with Jeff, and I think people just need to realize that Iowa really is a very unique place. There are a lot of special things to see and do here. Maybe just get off the beaten path a little bit and enjoy some of the sights around Iowa if they have an opportunity.
Great trails here in Iowa, too.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
yep.
Best trails in the country, I
Yep,
think.
nice small towns, very hospitable, and I think if you can catch a small town and have a tenderloin and a little ice cream at the local ice cream store, that's what I would do.
That's great. Thank you both. On behalf of my staff and the board of directors, which you're a part of, Barb, I want to thank you for having us here today, especially in this beautiful auditorium, and thank you for your support.
Well,
Thank
you're
you,
welcome.
Chuck.
Thank you.
And when we come back, we're going to talk to the president and CEO of Discover Ames, Kevin Burke.
We're Iowans taking care of Iowans. You deserve the best, we're going to give you the best.
The university offers comprehensive care. It really can all be done here. That gives the patient a huge advantage.
Everything they do is focused on how to care for you better, not just today, but tomorrow and the next decade.
You aren't a symptom. You're a person. That's why we treat the whole you, mind, body, and soul.
Getting you back to what you want to do.
We're all here for one mission, and that's to take care of the patient and give them the best outcome possible. They deserve everything we got.
Welcome back. We're here now with a familiar face, Kevin Burke, President and CEO of Discover Ames. Welcome, Kevin.
Thanks, Chuck. It's great to be here.
Kevin, you were on the original team at the Iowa Games when it first began in 1987 and then played a huge role in the Games for over 15 years prior to your current position with Discover Ames. How have the Iowa Games and state games across the country evolved over the years?
Well, you know, when the state games started here in Iowa as the Iowa Games, Governor Branstad and his staff were the ones that were instrumental in getting it started. And we were very fortunate that at that time he didn't use any state funding. It was all done through sponsorships. And a number of the states at the time, when state games were really starting to take off, many of those states were getting state funding, and now that they've lost that state funding, and the Iowa Games and other states that have started the way that we started through the great sponsors that you've had over the years, they've really flourished. So it's great to see the way that the Iowa Games has evolved. We started with 16 sports. I was the original sports director that picked those sports, and now we're over 50 sports. And so it's really evolved to the level of having really those sports become grassroots level sports. That's really what the games are all about. You know, kids have specialized so much in sports these days that there aren't a lot of avenues for them to try a first opportunity to participate in a track meet or a swimming meet or something at just a grassroots level. And that's what the Iowa Games and the state games movement's all about.
I know you've had a great sense of accomplishment from the very beginning of the games, Kevin, and congratulations on all your accomplishments. You were with the Iowa Games team when we bid on the State Games of America. I was there with you. Explain that process a little bit.
Well, back in 2014, we decided we were going to take a look at Nebraska. They were hosting this event. We went over to Lincoln. We weren't sure if we even wanted to bid on it because it is a huge undertaking. And after viewing that, we decided we wanted to bid on it, but we knew we didn't have the venues just in Ames to host this. We've got great venues with Iowa State and the city of Ames and some private facilities in Ames, but we knew we needed to get Catch Des Moines involved, and Greg has been great in his team in helping us put together that bid. Went out, presented the bid for 2019. We didn't get it for 19, got it for 21, but then COVID hit, and so now here we are, 22.
And I'm glad we have the games this summer. The Ames community in Iowa State University hosts several large-scale events every year. How do you feel the State Games of America will compare to these other events?
Well, you know, it's very unique. You know, we bring in a lot of other events throughout the year, and they're very specific one sport or one conference or convention, where the Iowa Games is one of those where we're using multiple venues, and it's a lot of different types of events, from the opening ceremony and athlete jamboree to the sports competitions themselves, from team sports, individual sports. So it really is a unique event in that it encompasses so many venues, so many different types of disciplines that it's a total team effort between Iowa State University, the Ames, and for State Games America, it's going to be Catch Des Moines as well.
Besides checking out all the sports and competitions in Ames during the State Games of America, what are the top things everyone should do while they discover Ames?
Well, as I mentioned, you know, opening ceremony is one of those great things, and the competition is certainly a great way to discover Iowa State University. Opening ceremony will be in Hilton Coliseum, and we're using all kinds of venues throughout the university and the community. But outside of that, you know, the university has 4 museums, Ryman Gardens, the city itself. There's just so many great places to explore with downtown Ames is just growing, the retail, and a lot of great restaurants. So we hope people have an opportunity to try a lot of different things when they're in Ames.
It'll be an exciting time in Ames during that time in the late summer. But thank you, Kevin, and thank you to Discover Ames for continuing to be a great partner for all of our events. After a short break, we'll return to talk with Greg Edwards, President and CEO of Catch Des Moines.
You won't read about my mom in the history books, but she's going to change history forever. You'll never learn about her in school, but she'll redefine everything we know. She's not a scientist or a doctor, but she's gonna help save a lot of lives. My mom works at Mediacom, and they're going to bring us one of the world's first 10G broadband platforms. Mom says, dream big.
Here in the heartland, at the heart of everything cool, Greater Des Moines is more than its features. It's a feeling. A feeling of discovery and wonder everywhere you turn. Catch what you've been missing. Des Moines, the S's are silent, our city is booming.
Welcome back and welcome to the President and CEO of Catch Des Moines, Greg Edwards.
Well, thank you, Chuck. Pleasure to be here with you.
Unlike the Iowa Games, which is held throughout the month of July, the State Games of America will be held over the course of 5 days. Due to the scale of this national event, we will have to utilize facilities in the Des Moines Metro for sports like swimming and figure skating.
That's right, Chuck, and we've got 2 great facilities to utilize. Our well-marked YMCA pool, one of the largest YMCAs in the country, Olympic-sized pool, all indoor, has stands for fans to sit in, just a great, great facility. You'll also be using the brand new Mid-American Energy Recplex, which is a brand new facility located in West Des Moines. Unbelievable facility, 2 sheets of ice out there. One of the sheets, of course, has seating for about 1,700 people, so fans can go in and watch the figure skating events. But it's also made up of just large soccer fields, indoor soccer fields, and a whole complex, just a great, great sports complex.
Yeah, those are both amazing facilities, and we are so fortunate to be able to use them for the State Games of America. We'll also be hosting rowing at Easter Lake and baseball at the Prairie Ridge Sports Complex in Ankeny. Talk about those facilities.
Well, you know the big rower that you and I've always been. Row your boat. But Easter Lake, wonderful facility located on the south side of Des Moines, was really a whole new renovation project done by the city of Des Moines years ago, but it's really spruced up a lot. It's a great facility, great for rowing, surrounded by biking, walking trails, so if you're bored watching the rowing, you can take your bike out and take a stroll on the walks or whatever. So great, great facility. Then the Prairie Ridge complex up in Ankeny, a massive sports complex, baseball fields, soccer fields, just everything you need. We'll be playing baseball up there, but a great facility. All these facilities throughout our metro within a 15-20 minute drive of downtown Des Moines and only a short, maybe 30-minute drive at most from Ames.
Yeah, all very close. And even though most sports will be held in Ames, we're very thankful to be able to utilize these facilities in Des Moines. Greg, tell our viewers a little bit more about Des Moines and what the city has to offer.
Well, it's the capital city of Iowa. It's a population about 700,000. A very, very progressive city. In fact, it's the fastest growing city in the Midwest right now, our metro area is. But lots of things to do. We've got an amusement park here called Adventureland. We've got a casino. We've got great arts and culture. We've got great shopping, great restaurants, a lot of locally owned restaurants. Of course, Iowa is the headquarters of food that feeds America or feeds the world. So you can sample a lot of great foods here as well.
It'll be a lot of fun for the out-of-state athletes for sure. Thank you, Greg, and everyone at Catch Des Moines for your support in hosting the State Games of America. When we return, we'll be talking to Katie more about how to register and some of the fun activities outside of the sports for the State Games of America.
Every sunrise offers new opportunities to dream big or to take that next small step. Every sunrise is another chance to build on the one before or to start with a clean slate. Because every sunrise is tomorrow's promise made real. And Grinnell Mutual is tomorrow's promise protected. Trust in tomorrow and contact a Grinnell Mutual agent today.
We are so much more
than an energy company.
We are connectors,
community protectors,
and clean energy leaders.
We are
job creators,
friends and neighbors,
stewards of your dollars and savings.
Yes, we
are so much more.
We are the energy
behind your everyday.
And we are
obsessively,
relentlessly
at your service.
Welcome back. Katie is back now to tell us more about the activities for athletes outside of their sports and competitions. The Athlete Tailgate has moved locations this year, Katie. Tell us more about this exciting event.
Yeah, typically we are on the south side of Jack Trice Stadium for this event, and we also haven't been able to have this event for the last 2 years because of COVID, so we're excited to come out bigger, better, stronger than ever, but we'll be at All Ball Plaza, which is on the north side of Jack Trice this year, so really nice space to utilize, and the unique part for this year is that we'll have an athlete meal with our Athlete Tailgate, so all athletes can eat there. We'll have food trucks, inflatables, variety of vendors and other outdoor games and things for all the athletes to get excited about, and then it'll kind of lead right into our opening ceremony.
It sounds like the new location will be perfect, as athletes then will head into Hilton Coliseum for the opening ceremony, sponsored by Wellmark. What can athletes expect with the opening ceremony?
We are very excited to have this event in Hilton. Like you said, it is a new location for us, so that's just exciting in general. But as far as what athletes can expect, we'll have a parade of athletes, which will be bigger and better as we have all the states represented. So all the 50 states will be represented with athletes coming in. We'll have flag bearers, everyone carrying the flag for their state as well for that. And then entertainment, we'll have Vocal Trash. They'll be our headlining entertainment. We've had them as part of our opening ceremony before and have been phenomenal. And then a number of speakers, and our keynote speaker will be Matt Stutzman, who is a Paralympic silver medalist and world champion, Iowa's armless archer. So we're very excited to have him as part of this event as well. And then we'll end the evening with lighting the cauldron to kick off the weekend.
It will be great to have Matt there to speak, no doubt about that. Thank you, Katie. I know we're all excited to host the opening ceremony in historic Hilton Coliseum. It will be a great venue for the event. When we return, Katie will let us know how to register and get involved with the State Games of America.
You won't read about my mom in the history books, but she's gonna change history forever. You'll never learn about her in school, but she'll redefine everything we know. She's not a scientist or a doctor, but she's gonna help save a lot of lives. My mom works at Mediacom, and they're going to bring us one of the world's first 10G broadband platforms. Mom says, dream big.
Gold. It's not an accessory or a trophy. It's a chase that pushes limits. This is your why. Why you polish and perfect and rise above fear to be gold. This is the State Games of America. Go for the gold.
Welcome back. Katie, with this event being larger than the Iowa Games, how many volunteers do you anticipate needing?
We're anticipating needing about 2,500 to 3,000 volunteers to make this event happen. And that includes anywhere from helping to keep time at swimming, keeping score at basketball, helping with our trekking crew, and also at registration and check-in, getting those athletes all checked in. So lots of opportunities to help with.
If someone wants to volunteer, what's the best way to sign up?
Go to discoverames.com. We could not do this without the help of the recruitment of volunteers with Discover Ames and the opportunities that we have on our website there.
Katie, even though this is a national event, all Iowa athletes can participate. That's correct?
Yes, all Iowa athletes are eligible to compete, along with the states that don't have, our neighboring states that don't have a state game. So South Dakota, Minnesota, and Illinois athletes can all compete without qualifying. As far as out-of-state athletes, they need to medal in their sport in their state to come qualify. There have been a few changes with our qualification requirements due to COVID over the last couple years. It had a big impact on the state games movement. So if you're curious if you qualify, go to stategamesamerica.com and check our eligibility page, and you can learn more there.
Thank you, Katie, for joining me today, and good luck with the State Games of America presented by Grinnell Mutual. I know your team will do an excellent job. We are excited to host this event in Ames and Des Moines this summer. For registration, volunteering, and things to do at the State Games of America, visit stategamesofamerica.com. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you at the games.